Hey, everybody, welcome back. Believe it or not, it is week number 13 of Ash's Fantasy Facts. I know time flies when you're having fun. Hopefully, you've been having fun. Hopefully, you've been winning some games in your fantasy football leagues. For some of you, week 13 is going to mean bye-bye, no playoffs for you. For others, it's a push to get in the playoffs. Some of you have already clinched, and you're just resting your players for the playoffs or hoping to get that bye. Either way, I hope you've had fun. I hope I've helped you out a little bit in some of my picks. Let's remind you as we head into week number 13 of Ash's Fantasy Facts, we got a game tonight. Coming up in just a little bit, we are going to see Houston take on Philadelphia. So make sure you get your lineups in, especially if you have guys in that game. Let's start at the quarterback position. Speaking of that game tonight, my number one play at QB this week, Michael Vick. How can it not be? Houston's been giving up yards and yards and yards all season through the air. I think it continues. Vick and the boys kind of upset. They lost against Chicago last week. They need this game to stay pace in the NFC East. I think this is a no-brainer that the Eagles win, and I think Vick puts up some big numbers. Another game I like, another starter quarterback, is Matt Castle. Look, this guy's been money. He and Dwayne Bowe are feeling it right now. So I'm going to keep rolling that guy out there. I think he's a great start this week against Denver. Now, I got a couple tread lightlies at quarterback. Two of them are in the same game. Ben Roethlisberger, Joe Flacco. They play each other. I don't like the matchup for either one of them. Ben's been a little banged up this week, and I just think Pittsburgh's D, this is going to be one of those defensive 12-9 type games for the division. I get a feeling, so I'm leaving both of these guys out of my lineup if you got them. And I also say tread lightly with Kyle Orton. Although Denver does have a tendency to lose big, get down big, and Orton throws up all these yards at the end in a mad comeback. So tread lightly with Kyle Orton. Let's move on to the running back position. My running back this week, my number one play is Steven Jackson going up against Arizona. Sorry, Cardinals. Steven Jackson should have a great game against Arizona. He tends to. He does usually in the past. So I'm starting Steven Jackson. Most of you are anyway. I think he's a big point getter this week. And again, Jamal Charles, Thomas Jones, until they show me they're not going to keep doing it, I'm keep throwing them out there. So if you got either one of those guys, they're going up against Denver, not good against the run, throw them both out there and get some big-time fantasy points. Let's move on to my tread lightly at running back. Got a couple guys. One, Ben Jarvis, Green, Ellis. The Patriots are going to have to do it through the air against the Jets. Jets defense usually pretty stingy against the run. So I'm going to tread lightly, and I have this guy on one of my teams, but with Ben Jarvis, Green, Ellis. And I also say tread lightly with Brian Westbrook. We saw Frank Gore's season, kind of like the Cardinals season, end on Monday night. Well, they had Brian Westbrook come in. He looked like he was 25 again. He played great. It was against the Cardinals. They're done. I think things change a little bit for Brian Westbrook going up against Green Bay this week. So I tread lightly with an older running back in Brian Westbrook. I got a couple of wide receivers I want to throw out there for you as we move on to the wide receiver position. Mike Williams in Seattle. They're playing Carolina. I like that matchup. Mike has had a nice season for Pete Carroll in his kind of reinvention of a wide receiver in the NFL. And Greg Jennings going up against San Fran. Again, San Fran, nice win against Arizona. I'm not buying the Niners yet. I think Green Bay needs and wants this game bad. They lost at the buzzer last week to Atlanta. I'm going to go with Greg Jennings to have a big game. My tread lightly at wide receiver, Vincent Jackson. Sorry, tell dude proves to me he's back and he's ready and he really wants to play football for the San Diego Chargers. I'm not putting him anywhere near my lineup. Let's move on. It's time now for my sleeper of the week. And my sleeper of the week is going to be right here at the University of Phoenix Stadium out in Glendale. No, it's not an Arizona Cardinal. It's not DA. I know you put your heart and soul into it, right? Well, I think Sam Bradford puts his heart and soul and actually is a good quarterback. So I think he is your sleeper of the week. He had 300 yards and 3 touchdowns last week in his win. I think he has another big game this week against the Arizona Cardinals. So my sleeper of the week is Sam Bradford. My dud of the week, and this could be big as we go into what is the final week of the season for a lot of teams. My dud of the week this week is going to be Fred Jackson, the running back for the Buffalo Bills. Now, I kind of said tread lightly with him last week against Pittsburgh. I was wrong. He actually had a very good game. Nice long touchdown run, had some receiving yards as well. I think against Minnesota this week, he slows down a little bit. So I'm going to tread lightly with Fred Jackson and make him my dud of the week this week in NFL week number 13. That's it. That's how we do it. It's week 13. I know for a lot of people, this is a big, big week, including a couple of my leagues. I'm battling. We got to get some W's. So let's get those W's. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free, especially in this last week, to send them my way. Ash@KTAR.com is the email address. Ash620 on Twitter or Mark Asher on Facebook. I'll post this video on all those. You can find out what's going on and hit me up on Friday or Saturday if you need some last-minute advice. Again, get those lineups in. We got a game tonight Houston and Philly, good luck in week number 13. This has been Ash's Fantasy Facts.
I got a feeling.